You're listening to AF Tales. This story is about a man whose girlfriend tells him she has options while dancing with another guy, then shows up at his door at 3 a.m. claiming she is pregnant. As you listen, ask yourself whether you agree with the way he handled each step. I am a 29-year-old software consultant living in Austin, Texas. I work remotely for a fintech startup, make good money, and I keep my life pretty simple. I drive a decent car, rent a nice apartment, and I have about $80,000 saved up. My friends say I am boring. I say I am careful. I am not flashy, I do not chase drama, and I try to stay low stress. Her name was Lauren. We met 8 months ago at a mutual friend's barbecue. She was 26, worked in marketing for a wellness brand, and had this energy that pulled people in. Long dark hair, always dressed like she was walking into an event, even if it was just a backyard hangout. I am not usually the one to chase, but she made it easy. She came up to me first, asked about my work, laughed at my bad jokes, and by the end of the night we had each other's numbers. The first few months were really good. We saw each other a couple of times a week. Dinner, movies, drives around the city with music on and no real plan. She talked a lot about her dreams, traveling the world, starting her own business, living a life full of experiences. I liked that about her. She had ambition. She did not just want to drift. But even early on, there was something in the background. She needed constant validation. She posted on Instagram all the time, checked likes, talked about who was doing better than her. I ignored it. I figured everybody has quirks and social media habits. This is often how it starts. You see something that feels off, but you tell yourself it is not a big deal. Around the 4-month mark, things started to shift. She began mentioning other guys more often. This guy at work bought me coffee today. My ex texted me, but I didn't reply. At first I thought she was just being open. Then it started to feel like she was watching my reaction. I did not bite. I am not the jealous type, and I was not going to play games. But the comments kept coming, and they started to change. Jake just bought his girlfriend a weekend trip to Napa. Connor is already talking about engagement rings. Brandon just got promoted and bought a BMW. I would shrug it off, but inside I was tired. I make good money, but I am not going to burn through it trying to impress someone who is always looking at what other couples have. I am saving for a house, for a future, not to fund an Instagram highlight reel. One night in early October, we went to an Italian place she loved. She spent almost 20 minutes taking pictures of her pasta before she took a bite. Then she put her phone down and said, "You know, sometimes I wonder if we're moving too slow." "What do you mean?" I asked. "We've been together 6 months and we're still just dating. Nothing's really changed. It feels like we're stuck." I thought things were fine, steady. I did not know what she wanted to be different. This is a good moment to pause. When someone feels stuck but cannot say what they actually want, it often means they are looking outward instead of looking inward. About 2 weeks later, she invited me to her coworker's birthday party at a rooftop bar downtown. I am not a fan of crowded bars, loud music, and drunk strangers, but she kept asking, saying I needed to get out more, so I went. I showed up around 8. The place was packed. Music blasting, people dancing, string lights overhead, bartenders moving non-stop. She was already there with coworkers. She introduced me to a few of them, but I could tell she was distracted. Her eyes kept drifting across the room. About an hour in, she went to get a drink. I stayed near the railing, looking at the city and scrolling my phone. When I looked up, she was talking to some guy at the bar. Tall, well-dressed, dark hair slicked back, expensive watch, the whole polished look. They were laughing, a lot. At first I did not think much of it. She is a social person. She talks to everyone. But then they moved to the dance floor and things changed. He put his hands on her waist. Her arms went around his neck. They started dancing close. I watched for a minute. I tried to decide if I was overreacting. Maybe they were just coworkers. Maybe I was being paranoid. Then she looked right at me. She saw me watching, and instead of coming back, she smirked and kept dancing. That was the moment it stopped being confusion and started feeling intentional. I walked over. Calm, no yelling, no anger. I tapped her shoulder. "Hey, can we talk for a second?" She turned, still smiling. "What's up? You good?" "You've been over here for a while," I said. "Just checking in. She rolled her eyes. "Oh my God, relax, I'm just dancing." The guy next to her looked uncomfortable. He muttered something about getting another drink and walked away. "I'm not trying to start anything," I said. "I'm just checking in." She laughed, then said, "You know what? I also have the right to have my options." I stared at her. The music was loud, but her words were crystal clear. "What did you just say?" I asked. "You heard me. I'm allowed to have options. You don't own me." A few people nearby glanced over, sensing tension. I felt my chest tighten, but I kept my face neutral. I was not going to argue in the middle of a dance floor over a woman who just told me she wanted options. So I nodded slowly. "All right, cool." I turned, walked out, grabbed my keys from the valet, and drove home. Sometimes the healthiest choice is not to argue, it is to accept what someone just showed you and leave. On the drive back, my phone buzzed nonstop, text after text. "Wait, come back. I didn't mean it like that. You're overreacting." I did not read them all. When I got home, I blocked her number. Blocked her on Instagram, Snapchat, everything. Done. At least that is what I thought. Around 3:17 a.m. I woke up to pounding on my front door, loud enough to wake up the whole building. I grabbed my phone and checked the peephole. It was Lauren. Her makeup was smeared, mascara running, hair a mess, eyes red and swollen. She was crying hard. "Open the door," she yelled. "Please, I need to talk to you." I stepped back. There was no way I was letting her in for a dramatic 3 a.m. scene after what happened at that party. "I know you're in there. Please, just let me explain," she said. I sat on my couch, arms crossed, waiting for her to leave. She kept banging, kept calling my name, kept apologizing through the door. After about 10 minutes, the banging stopped. I thought she finally gave up. Then her voice came again, quieter, broken. "I'm pregnant." I froze. "I'm pregnant and it's yours." My heart started racing. I walked back to the door and pressed my ear against it. I could hear her sobbing. "Lauren, go home," I said through the door. "We're not doing this right now." "I'm serious," she said. "I took a test yesterday. I didn't know how to tell you. That's why I was acting weird at the party." I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I did not open the door. I did not fully believe her either. It felt like manipulation, a last-ditch attempt to pull me back in, but I could not ignore it completely. What if she was telling the truth? "If that's true, we'll talk about it tomorrow," I said. "Go home, get some sleep." "Please just open the door. I don't want to be alone right now," she cried. "Lauren, I'm not opening the door," I said. "Go home. We'll talk when you're sober and it's not the middle of the night." Silence. Then footsteps. A car starting. She left. I sat down and stared at the wall. Pregnant. That word just echoed in my head. I did not sleep the rest of the night. Sometimes a firm boundary will make people throw their biggest card on the table. That does not automatically mean you should drop the boundary. The next morning around 9, I unblocked her number. There were about 15 messages from the night. "Apologies, I need to see you," and one asking if I got the pregnancy test photo she said she had sent. I had not seen any photo. I checked. Nothing. She must have sent it after I blocked her. I texted, "We need to talk, coffee, noon, public place." She replied instantly. "Thank you, I'll be there. I'm so sorry." We met at a Starbucks downtown, neutral ground. She walked in looking exhausted. No makeup, gray sweatpants, oversized hoodie, dark circles under her eyes. She sat down and wrapped her hands around a cup of tea. "I'm sorry," she started, voice shaking. "I'm so sorry about the party. I was drunk and stupid and I said things I didn't mean. I was scared and I didn't know how to handle it." "Are you actually pregnant?" I asked. She nodded and pulled out her phone. She showed me a photo of a pregnancy test. 2 pink lines, clear. My stomach dropped. "When did you take this?" I asked. 2 days ago. Friday morning," she said. "And you didn't think to tell me before the party?" I asked. "I was scared," she said. "I didn't know how you'd react. I thought if I acted normal, I could figure out how to tell you, but then I started drinking and everything fell apart." "Fell apart by dancing with another guy and telling me you have options," I said. Her face crumpled. Tears started again. "I know, it was horrible," she said. "I panicked. I thought if I pushed you away, it would hurt less if you left anyway. I thought you'd leave once you found out." I leaned back and rubbed my face. None of this made sense. My life suddenly felt like it was on fire. "I need you to take another test," I said, "in front of me." "Right now?" she asked. Yes, I said. She looked hurt, then nodded. Okay, we can go to my place. I have another one. We drove separately to her apartment. On the way, my hands shook on the steering wheel. I did not know what I was hoping for. Part of me wanted it to be a lie. Part of me knew that would open a whole different mess. She went into the bathroom with the test. I waited outside the door. 3 minutes felt like 3 hours. She came out holding the stick, 2 pink lines. I sat down on her couch, head in my hands. This was real. What do you want to do? I asked quietly. I don't know, she said. I haven't decided anything yet, but I wanted you to know, you deserve to know, this affects both of us. If you're keeping it, I said, I'll be there. I am not going to abandon a kid, but we are not getting back together. That part is done. We can co-parent, but that's it. She nodded, tears running down her face. I understand, she said. I don't expect you to forgive me, I'm just sorry. We sat in heavy silence for a while, then she looked down at her hands and said something that made my blood run cold. The guy at the party, she said quietly. I slept with him 3 weeks ago. I turned to her slowly. It felt like someone had punched me. What? I asked. I was drunk, she said. We went back to his place after a different work thing. It was a mistake. I regretted it immediately. I didn't think it meant anything. So you don't even know if it's mine, I said. She started sobbing. I think it is, she said. The timing lines up better with us, but I don't know for sure. I don't know. I stood up, grabbed my keys, and walked to the door. I could not sit there anymore. Wait, she cried. Please, get a paternity test when the baby is born. Don't contact me until then, I said. I left and drove home in silence. No music, no radio, just numb. This is one of those moments where love, anger, and responsibility collide. No matter what you feel, you still have to decide what kind of man you want to be. The next 2 months were slow and heavy. Lauren texted me about once a week with updates, doctor's appointments, how she was feeling, ultrasound pictures. I responded with short replies. Okay. Good. Thanks for the update. I was not cruel, but I was distant. I was not going to pretend things were normal while I waited to find out if I was going to be a father with someone I no longer trusted. I told my parents. That was rough. My mom cried. My dad asked if I was sure the baby was mine. I told him I was not. He nodded and went quiet. I told my 2 closest friends. They were supportive, but there is only so much you can say to someone in that situation. Then, about 3 weeks ago, Lauren called and said she needed to talk in person. Her voice sounded calmer. We met at the same Starbucks. She looked healthier. I got a DNA test. There was a small bump under her sweater. One of those early ones. She sat down and got straight to the point. Just blood work. I waited. It's not yours, she said. A wave of relief hit me so hard I almost laughed. I did not. I just exhaled for what felt like the first time in 2 months and nodded. It's his, she said. The guy from the party. His name is Brandon. I told him last week. He's stepping up. We're figuring it out. He wants to be involved. Good, I said. I hope it works out for you. She reached across the table and touched my hand. I'm really sorry for everything, she said. You didn't deserve any of it. You were good to me and I ruined it. I pulled my hand back gently. Yeah, I said. I didn't. She looked like she wanted to say more, but she stood up and left. I sat there for a while, watching people walk by outside. Couples with coffee, parents with kids, life going on like normal while mine had opened up and then closed back up again in just a few months. I have not spoken to Lauren since that day. I heard from the mutual friend who introduced us that she and Brandon are trying to make it work, moving in together, getting ready for the baby. I removed that friend from my social media too. I did not want updates. As for me, I am okay. Better than okay. I went back to my routine. Work, gym, nights out with friends who actually respect me. I deleted all our photos, unfollowed anyone connected to her, even changed coffee shops. I started seeing a therapist. That helped. I talked through everything, processed the anger and the fear. She told me I handled it better than most people would have. Maybe I did. Maybe I just survived it. Sometimes I think about what Lauren said at the party. I also have the right to have my options. She was right. She did have that right, and I had mine. I had the right to walk away, the right to have boundaries, the right not to be someone's backup plan while they test their options. No regrets. Lesson 1, when someone openly tells you they want options while they are with you, believe them and take them seriously. Lesson 2. A midnight apology after public disrespect does not erase the disrespect. Timing matters. Lesson 3. Pregnancy news should never be used as a tool to force contact or control someone's reactions. Lesson 4. You can be willing to step up for a child and still refuse to return to a broken relationship. Those are separate decisions. Lesson 5. Setting a firm boundary, like not opening the door at 3 a.m., can protect you from being pulled back into chaos. Lesson 6. If someone shows you they are willing to cheat and lie, it is healthy to walk away, even if it hurts. What would you have done in his place when she said she had the right to have options, and then came back claiming she was pregnant? Do you think he was too harsh, or do you think he protected himself the right amount by walking away and waiting for the truth?